Welcome, everyone, to the Camper Report. Today, I have a long-time guest, the first guest, Amin, the dream that I ever had. He was the first guest that I'd ever brought on. I wanted to bring him back, unplugged with the NFL and Amin. Man, it's been a while, but thanks for joining me once again on the stream, Amin.
I appreciate you having me.
So the Buccaneers versus Cowboys game is going on right now, but we're going to get to some of the games on Sunday, starting with, I believe, breaking down the 49ers. I'll just get it up. Breaking down the 49ers, just the keys to the 49ers versus Lions game. I'll get it up here. So you can start first.
49ers versus Lions. This is going to be a very interesting game, Obviously, football is back, and as Niners fan, I'm dying to see the 49ers play again. But, this should be an easy win for the Niners. Yes, People say the Niners they score less than 20 points. All of Kyle Shanahan, as an offensive coordinator, as a head coach, his team scored less than 20 points. Fine, that's true. But it's the Lions. It's not if we were going up against a good team like the Rams, like let's say Seattle, yes, and fine, that's a possibility. But they're the Lions at the end of the day. They're still a rebuilding team. There's a lot of work to do. And our run game is going to be explosive, obviously. And we have a healthy team, like Nick Bosa's coming back, D Ford coming back. Obviously, they are going to be on snap counts, but we have a healthy team, and I think with our healthy team going up against a healthy Lions team, we should easily be able to beat the Lions.
Hold on. Why is it going back? Oh, okay. Here we go. I completely agree. The one thing that I'm interested to see is Raheem Mostert, like how many carries they give him, because that will basically set the tone of the game, like how much we want to load manage you instead of like last year, again, if he got over 12 carries, he started getting banged up and injured. So this game is really going to be a sign of how much they trust him to carry the ball without getting injured. I think they're going to spread it around. And then my number two key, the one thing that the Niners need to kind of look out for is the Lions front seven. I was looking at it the other day. Can't remember who brought up this point, but the Lions front seven is really actually pretty good. That's probably the biggest strength on their team. And so they're going to bring pressure to Jimmy G, especially when Jimmy G is out. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan is going to try to get him out of the pocket, but I would watch out for that because they're going to try to go after guys like Mike McGlinchey. The whole right side is going to be attacked. So obviously, the Niners, we expect them to run it 40 times. So it's not a big deal. I expect this game to be a 27 to 13. No, not 27-13. Maybe a little bit closer, but I think the Niners will score around 30 points, 30 to 20. Maybe. Their D-line's going to get after Jared Goff. It could be 20-10 also. Who knows? But
yeah. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. The thing about the Niners is that their run game is so explosive that you necessarily don't have to rely on Jimmy G to pass the ball and throw the ball 20 times, 30 times. You could legit make Jimmy G like Tennessee championship game.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw 7 times and we could win against the Lions. Right? We could do it against Green Bay. We should easily be able to do it against the Lions, especially considering since the offensive line is way better than it was in 2019. McGlinchey, obviously, he's on the right side, but he's an amazing run blocker. We got Trent Williams, also an amazing run blocker that we should re-sign in the offseason. And we also have Alex Smack, who's a newly acquired center. Yes, he is old, but people forget that he's still an all-pro, Pro Bowler caliber left tackle. Center. Yes, he is old, but he's made it to the Pro Bowl just 2 years ago. He was a Pro Bowler. So he's not that washed. He's still a good, solid center. So
that's true. And, the 49ers are going to tote the rock as long as they can. And then they're going to try to – again, the Lions are going to play a lot of upfront defense. They're going to load the box, but that's when you maybe bring in Trey Lance for 2 passes per game and make them throw it deep, make them play honest. But I do expect them to, get Jimmy out of the pocket because that Lions team with Trey Flowers and everything and then Brockers, that's a good front seven. So get him out of the pocket, get him out of pressure, and it should be a pretty easy game from there. The score, I'm not exactly. I think we'll score around not 30, probably 24, and we'll hold them to around 13. So,
Now, when I say blowout, I don't mean like the Niners are scoring like 50
no.
points on them, right? But it's gonna be a blowout in the sense where the Niners are gonna have like you said, like somewhere like 25 to 30 points, and the Lions are probably gonna score like somewhere to like 13 to 17, right? So it is gonna be a blowout in that sense where we're gonna easily beat them by like double digits.
Yeah. And Bosa, I mean, obviously, like you said, they're going to try to limit his snaps. But Bosa, I mean, they're going to basically blitz Jared Goff all game and do what they did with the Rams. This is why this game, I think, is going to be so easy to game plan for, because you're game planning for a quarterback that you've played every year for the last 4 years that the 49ers have been a head coach. So basically, I mean, Bosa's job's going to be pretty easy. And I mean, Kentavious Street, all of these guys are going to feast. So
yeah, but I'm definitely interested in seeing D'Amico Ryans, right? Because I mean, when we played Jared Goff last time, Robert Saleh was a defensive coordinator.
true.
I want to see what D'Amico Ryans does in his defensive scheme against Jared Goff, and I want to see how that defense looks on Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But do you have anything else to say on that? I mean, this game will be so exciting. 11 o'clock Mountain, obviously 10 o'clock Pacific.
I mean, it's definitely going to be exciting. As much as it's not like an interesting matchup like Niners and Seattle, I'm just glad football is back, especially Niners football. I wait for football season every year, and it's finally back. So let's go.
Yeah, and I'm just excited to see Trey Lance, but not even Trey Lance, like the Jimmy Garoppolo, the offensive, it's exciting. So, do you think Carson Wentz returning for week 1 will propel the Colts past the Seahawks? Again, he was full participant in practice like a few days ago, so he's expected to return for the Seahawks. I mean, this is big news for the Colts because backup they had whatever his name is.
Easton and Ellinger.
Yeah, so it wasn't that great. But what do you think on this? What are your thoughts?
No, it doesn't propel them past the Seattle Seahawks. Carson Wentz is coming off a foot injury. He's going to struggle a little bit. I mean, Seattle, is he going to really be able to – is that defense really going to be able to stop Russ, number one? And number two, Russ can cook with time. Like, it's going to be hard to stop Russ. Can Carson Wentz and that team offense has to score points. Like, Russell Wilson can drop 30 on your defense. Your defense isn't outstanding. Yes, you have some solid players on your defense, like Jason or like DeForest Buckner. But Russell Wilson can do so much, and his offensive line has also been improved this offseason.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, if Russell Wilson, hopefully that offensive line is sufficient enough for him. But Russell Wilson's also a mobile quarterback. Honestly, I don't see them propelling past the Seahawks because I don't think Carson Wentz can do enough and will not be able to do enough against the Seahawks.
That's true, but I do think that Russell Wilson will kind of have a tougher time moving the ball because – again, their O-line's not great, so they're going to bring pressure. Don't try to flush him out of the pocket, but the secondary is really good, like one of the better secondaries in the league. So it's going to be a hard defensively. But asking the question about Carson Wentz, answering the question, I think he will because he's better than nothing. He's better than whatever you had at quarterback without Carson Wentz. And so it's going to be – I have a feeling it's going to be more of like not a higher scoring game, but I think both teams will have trouble moving the ball. I do think the Seahawks come away with this one 24-20 in the end. But Carson Wentz, this is really a big game for him because he needs to show that he is a franchise quarterback like he used to be, right? And I think he will show that for sure.
I mean, one thing that we've seen Carson Wentz go up against the Seahawks is that he's really not that good against the Seahawks. I mean, even in the playoffs, Jadeveon Clowney, when he was on the Seahawks, he got injured off of Jadeveon Clowney's head. And, I mean, he just can't do well against the Seahawks. I don't know what it is, but in his career, when he goes up against the Seahawks, majority of the time he loses and makes bad decisions. Like last year, Monday Night Football, they're in the red zone, he throws an interception.
True.
He just doesn't do good against the Seahawks. I don't know what it is. Obviously, he has an improved team compared to Philadelphia when he played in Philadelphia, but the Seahawks are still a really good team, and I just don't see Carson Wentz in that offense doing enough to beat Seattle. I mean, Seattle's going to drop points on you. And yes, they do have a good secondary, but like majority of the corners do struggle against DK Metcalf because he is a bigger dude. Tyler Lockett, also a fast guy. So their secondary is gonna have some trouble stopping DK and guy Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
More DK Metcalf. They're gonna have trouble stopping DK because he's a bigger physical guy. But I just don't think Carson Wentz and that offense can outscore Seattle.
There we go. So much brighter. I just turned up the bright lights on my computer. Anyways, so yeah, I think also this is another thing with the 49ers Lions, like I was saying, the Seahawks know Carson Wentz. So they're going to, like, they have played Carson Wentz many times. They're going to be able to kind of game plan around him. Again, I think the Colts will do good on defense, but then on offense, they're not. They're not a that great offensive team. So again, let's see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, their defense. I definitely think their defense is gonna do okay, but it's hard to stop Russell Wilson. Like we've seen in 2019,
Yeah, exactly.
like even when Russ is down in games, Russ can come back. Like let's say
12-point comeback versus the
yeah,
Niners.
right,
Yeah.
like even the Niners, he came back. Like when I just watched that this morning, we scored like 21 in like the first half, and then at the end, like we were like 26 points, like at the end or something like that.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter, and Russ only had 7 points throughout the second quarter, and they come back, right? And they almost won if it wasn't for that delay of game. So even if Russ is down, he can win. Not to even mention like the NFC Championship
Yeah.
against Green Bay. They're in like the fourth quarter. They're losing 21-7. Green Bay has the football, and it's like 4 or 5 minutes left, and the Seattle Seahawks still come out and pull out the game. Obviously, the team was way different, but Russ can make magic, and at the late games, and he can do a lot. And he's a mobile quarterback. Like even some of the plays that he can make, like he's running, he's scrambling, defender chasing him, and he can make like a miraculous throw. Like Russ can do so much. I don't necessarily think Carson Wentz can outscore the Seahawks. I don't think they have enough firepower to outscore the Seahawks.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Seahawks, I mean, they always they always start off pretty fast. I mean, in the previous years they've always started off like 3-0. I think they're going to start off to a really big start. Again, Carson Wentz hasn't even played with the Colts, so he doesn't really have the chemistry yet on the field. He just came back from a broken foot. But again, it is better than what they had.
Yeah. But also another thing to take into consideration before we move on is Russ usually pretty much every season, like the last couple of seasons, he plays like an MVP caliber player the first half of the season. He'll like let Russ cook 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns.
42 points a game, basically.
300 yards. Like, let Russ cook the first half of the season, and he does that for the last couple of years. Like, obviously Russ doesn't win MVP at the end of the year, but majority of fans are like, oh, Russ is like cooking. He has potential to win MVP, and then he slows down a little bit in the second half of the season. But the first half of the season, Russ is lights out, and it's hard to defeat Russell Wilson when he's lights out MVP. It's hard to stop Russell Wilson.
Exactly. So the next one we got, this one actually is probably the funnest one. QB matchups. Again, the NFL did this just perfectly where they set up week 1, like all these nice matchups. The first one we got to get to is Tua versus Mac Jones week 1. This is going to be an exciting game. And it's funny that 2 rookie quarterbacks are in that division now. One guy that is a teammate of another person. So it's the division's going to be like full of like rookie matchups this year. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, this was a tough one for me because both of these guys both played in Alabama. Mac Jones was Tua's backup, but I think Mac Jones is going to win the game. I think Mac Jones and the New England Patriots are going to beat Tua Tagovailoa.
I hate the Patriots.
I don't like the Patriots either, man. I don't like them either, but I'm just being honest. Mac Jones, they have a good offensive line. Obviously, Bill Belichick, if not the best coach in football. You have an offensive line. You have weapons. Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar. You have weapons. Like even Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith that they added in free agency. They have weapons. And some of their defensive guys are coming back, like Dante Hightower, Devin McCourty. Like there's players that are coming back for them. Their team is really, really good. They have a defense. They have an offense. And I think Mac Jones really doesn't have to do that much to win in New England, right? If he was in another situation, let's say, Jacksonville or, New York, then yeah, I would say maybe Tua has the slight edge. But if he's playing with a good team like the New England Patriots, especially with all they did in free agency to add weapons for Tua, and they have some of their defensive stars are coming back, I gotta lean towards Mac Jones, and I think Mac Jones and the New England Patriots are gonna win it by a field goal. I'll say something like 23-20, 24-21, something like that. They'll win it by a field goal. They'll pull it out.
Well, in a way, they did kind of to in a way they did surround Tua because they got Will Fuller. They did get Jalen Waddle, so they tried to surround him with good players. So, but I think Mac Jones, like, slow down. Like, I get Mac Jones probably has a better team, but slow down on the Mac Jones hype because he's gonna have his rookie struggles. Like,
I agree. I wouldn't
exactly.
agree with you. Right? Like when people are saying like the Patriots are slight Super Bowl contenders, or they're
No.
like no, like or they have a chance that I like even people say they might beat the Bills in the
Yeah.
division, or they are like sneak into a playoff spot, or they might sneak into a playoff spot. Like, listen to what you guys are saying. Mac Jones, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
He's gonna have his rookie struggles. Like, why do you think people think like this whole that thing that Belichick did with Brady's gonna repeat all over again? Like, no, Brady is Brady. There's only one Brady out there. That's why he's the GOAT. There's only one GOAT. Mac Jones isn't Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Like, Mac Jones just isn't. Like, if nobody, it's not easy to replicate what Tom Brady did in one season. Like, it's hard because he was a rookie. Mac Jones, I'm not saying that he's gonna make it to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's definitely gonna do good. He's gonna win some games. But if you look at how tough his division is in the AFC East, you have the Dolphins that is a contending team. You have the Bills who are Super Bowl contenders for God's sake. You have like other divisions like the AFC North that have like the Browns, they have the Ravens, they have the Steelers. Like, it's so tough and competitive in the AFC. Mac Jones is gonna have to play well and not make mistakes if he wants to necessarily get a Patriots a playoff spot. I definitely see them winning games. I just don't know about a playoff spot because I don't know if Mac Jones and that team is that good for them
Yeah.
to get a playoff spot because AFC is really tough. And even if they do get a playoff spot, I'll be shocked and I'll admit if I was wrong. But they're gonna have to go up against a lot of good teams, especially if they get sneak into the playoffs 7th or 6th seed. Because, like I said, the AFC is really tough. Not to even mention like the Chargers, the Chiefs. Like, it's stacked. The AFC is stacked, and I didn't even mention like the AFC South that have the Colts and the Titans, right? So like, it's really tough if Mac Jones wants to hit the Patriots into the playoffs, and he has to play exceptionally well if they want to make the playoffs.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I do agree with you there, and I think the thing that Tua does now have a second year in the system with Mac Jones. Also, like, not you are, but people are forgetting that how good the Dolphins secondary is. That's a good secondary with Xavier Howard, with a few other guys. So that's a good secondary that's going to get out after it. And Brian Flores knows the Patriots. He knows what they want to do. They want to run the ball, and then they're going to throw it once every while. But I actually see the Dolphins winning this because they have a really good – I've been high on the Dolphins. It's not even my hate towards the Patriots. I have been high on the Dolphins for a long time. I think the Dolphins will make the playoffs. We'll get into that later. But I do think that the Dolphins deserve a I think they actually get the win here. Is that at home? The Dolphins? Is it in Miami? I could look that up.
I think it is.
I'm not sure, but it's going to be close, and I expect it to be around. I mean, I think it's going to be 2017. I mean, basically.
Me personally, I'm really not that high on Tua. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards Mac Jones, and also his team that he has around him. Yes, Tua has weapons, but I mean, like, Tua, like, same thing with Mac Jones. Tua played at Alabama, and coming out of Alabama, I wasn't high on him because if you look at his supporting cast, right, like Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, those guys were like top 10 first-round draft picks. Jerry Jeudy went to the Broncos,
Yeah, true.
He has like stacked receivers, stacked offensive line. He has
Devontae Parker. You're forgetting about him. That's a guy that I think is going to break out.
They have weapons, right? They have weapons for him. That offensive line is okay. I mean, that offensive line is they don't really have any great players, Pro Bowl caliber.
Yeah.
Team. Their defense is also fine. They have a pretty good secondary. They have a good defense. But I mean, I wasn't high coming out of the draft on Tua because I mean, if you look at his supporting cast was pretty much the best in college football. Best coach, best offensive line, best draft prospects as receivers in the draft. He had such a great supporting cast. and I don't know if Tua can replicate
The
that
same with
success.
Mac Jones.
Yes, same with Mac Jones, but Mac Jones is going to a team that, like Belichick, right? Belichick, an amazing
Yeah.
coach, knows how to develop and improve quarterbacks. I mean, I don't know who they have as their quarterbacks coach in Miami, but I know Bill Belichick has done it before, right? I'm
Yeah.
not saying that he's gonna have the same level of success as he did with Brady, but Belichick has done it before with Brady. He's done it with Matt Castle when they were injured. The New York Jets were a really good team, and they went like
Yeah.
10 and
True.
6 with Matt Castle, so he knows how to do it, right? Tua Tagovailoa, yes, he is more athletically gifted than Mac Jones, but he doesn't have the same coaching as Mac Jones has. He doesn't have the same offensive line as Mac Jones has, and I'm not really that high on Tua.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to be really close though. That's one of my go-to games this week because
Definitely.
I want to see the Patriots, but another thing is now you don't have Cam Newton to turn to if Mac Jones does bad. So I don't know. So let's get to the next one: Zach Wilson versus Sam Darnold, Week 1.
Ooh, this is a tough one.
I
This
know
is a
you want to lead with Robert Saleh. I can go first. I can go first. So basically, I think Zach Wilson. They're going to try to get him out with like the Patriots will do with Mac Jones. They're going to try to get Mac Jones easy throws quickly, dink and dunks like they did with Jimmy Garoppolo back in thingy. He's basically going to complete. He's basically going to do Robert Saleh what the 49ers did with Jimmy Garoppolo. But Zach Wilson, we saw in that preseason game, he was a natural thrower. He can hit all of those easy passes. Great. I mean, just a really natural thrower. So I think Zach Wilson in this first game will look the most polished out of anybody in the rookie quarterbacks. I think they're going to actually. I mean, the Panthers' defense is actually really good. That's the one thing that has them going for them. But I think the biggest weakness on the Jets team is going to be the defense. This is a high scoring game. I'm going to say the Jets in a close one, 35-31.
Now on my Tuesday show. I said Zach Wilson and the Jets, but I forgot CMC is coming back.
Oh, yeah. Why did I?
CMC,
Yeah, that's true.
CMC
That's
is
true.
coming
That's true.
back.
It's not a
Sam
great
Darnold
defense.
wants revenge on that New York Jets team. Now, I'm really high on Zach Wilson. I think he's going to look amazing. I have so much faith in Robert Saleh. I have so much faith in that coaching staff, Mike LaFleur. I have so much faith in that team. But Sam Darnold is out for revenge. He has amazing weapons in DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson.
Yeah,
He has an okay offensive line. He has CMC, who some people are predicting to win offensive player of the
true.
year this year. And that defense, like you said, it's a good defense. Like Brian Burns, who some people have defensive player of the year this year. Like that defense it's solid. It's good. It's not a Pro Bowl or it's not an amazing defense. It's not like a legendary defense like the Bucks or like a stacked amazing defense, but it's a good defense. It's a solid defense. And I think Sam Darnold's out for revenge. He has weapons.
Yeah,
He and the thing about his weapons, right? He can throw the ball. He can throw the ball deep really well, and
yeah,
that's why they have
yeah.
receivers from Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. Those guys can go deep, and those guys can catch it deep. So and those guys are deep threats. So I think Sam Darnold's out for revenge, and he's gonna win over Zach Wilson and the Jets. Sadly, I want Robert Saleh to win, but Sam Darnold is out for revenge. He has
I'm
to
not
win
even
again.
taking Robert Saleh into account. I just think Zach Wilson is that good.
I love Zach Wilson. I think he's an amazing player. He reminds me of Aaron Rodgers when he throws the football. He's an amazing player. But people have to understand that yes, Zach Wilson's an amazing player. Tony Romo did come out and say, "Oh, he has potential to be Mahomes." I think that's a little bit of a reach because Mahomes is a one in a generational player. But Zach Wilson could be an amazing player. Like I could see him being a Josh Allen type player, but just not this year. Like if you look at his supporting cast isn't outstanding. Like it's not like an amazing supporting cast where he has where he has an amazing offensive line, he has amazing receivers, he has an amazing defense. It's a potential. That team has a lot of potential. I think they can contend in 2 to 3 years. But like if you're talking about them right now, that team is still a rebuilding team.
Yeah,
It has a rookie head coach, rookie offensive coordinator, rookie defensive coordinator, right? So that team is gonna have his struggles. It's gonna have his ups and downs. I was very impressed with Zach Wilson in preseason, but it was preseason. Like, it was preseason, people. Like,
Yeah.
Bears fans were like, oh my god, Justin Fields, the first game, 2 touchdowns. Oh my god, Justin Fields. He's going up.
I watched his highlights. I was doing this with Kobe Ransom. He didn't look that good the first
He
game.
was
I
going
don't
up
know
against
what
third
all the
and
hype
fourth.
was about.
He was going up against like third and fourth strings, and Bears fans were like losing their mind. And I'm like, let's say Andy Dalton gets injured week 1. He gets injured playing. Can Justin Fields do enough? Let's say outscore or do well against the Rams defense. How well is he gonna do against Aaron Donald on that defensive line? How well is he gonna do when pressure is coming in his face? Right, he's going up against third and fourth strings. What happens when he goes up against a starting caliber defense? How well is he gonna perform then? Right. I think Justin Fields is an amazing quarterback, but can he do well against starting defense? Can he do well against starting players, starting caliber players in a starting defense? I don't know yet, so I necessarily can't say that, oh, Justin Fields is just an amazing player, so is Zach Wilson. I don't even think Trey Lance is an amazing player, nor is Trevor Lawrence until I see him go up against a starting defense. I just can't say that yet. I think they have all the intangibles and amazing characteristics that, like Zach Wilson can throw a ball. He reminds me of an Aaron Rodgers the way he throws the ball. But I don't know how well he will do in the situation that he is if he can't go up against a first-string defense, unless I see him go with the starters going up against the starters. Justin Fields, even in practice, for majority of camp, he wasn't even going up against the starters. He was going up against the backups. So, like, when people are showing these clips of how Justin Fields throwing sidearm or he's doing that, I don't know until I see him go up against the starting defense. Same thing with Zach
Yeah.
Wilson. Same thing with Trey Lance. I can't say it until I see it. So we'll see. But I think Sam Darnold is out for revenge, and I think he's gonna get his revenge and he's gonna win. And I think that team is motivated to do it for Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah.
Because when your quarterback wants, same thing like when we were not favored for Rich when we were playing Seattle a couple of years ago in 2018. I think the first or second year Richard Sherman was there, and we beat Seattle by like a field goal or something like that. We beat Seattle, but we weren't favored. But like Sam Darnold wants revenge, and he's gonna get it. And that team is gonna rally around Sam Darnold. I think they're gonna pick up the win for him.
Well, that was cool. So up next, we'll do keys to the Bills versus Steelers games, Browns versus Chiefs preview, and final playoff preview. But first, we have to do something else. If you are enjoying listening to the Camper Report right now and you have been wondering how to start your own podcast, have I got news for you. You see, podcasting today is one of the simplest ways to connect to your audience, but it can be tricky finding the right format and host that suits you. That, my friends, is where Buzzsprout is helpful. Buzzsprout is by far the most simple and productive podcast host on the planet. For starters, you will get a great-looking podcast website, audio players that you can drop into other websites, detailed analytics to see how people are listening, tools to promote your episodes, and many more features that I have not listed. Their team members are friendly, and they've helped me with my every need. My favorite part about Buzzsprout is that it enables you to track your recorded episodes easily, which is why I chose them. This podcast host is so good, it has significantly assisted over 100,000 podcasters, including myself, to get their message out to the world. The Buzzsprout team is committed to aid every question or issue that you have. Buzzsprout gets you listed to every major podcast platform, which is another feature that props up your show. It is so easy. All that is required is a quiet space and the gear that is already available to you. If you want to upgrade, Buzzsprout has tons of guides to help you find the right equipment at a suitable price. They post blogs and YouTube videos every week, which gives you guidance from experts. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners. To start your own podcast and get a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for a paid plan, follow the link in the show notes. This lets Buzzsprout know the Camper Report sent you, and it helps support our show. Buzzsprout, the most complete podcast host available. So, obviously, that's a new look. I don't know how – that was my first time doing it live, but we'll get to the next one. Keys to the Bills versus Steelers game.
Yep. Now the Steelers, they obviously drafted Najee Harris, who I think he's gonna break out this game. He's around like 100 rushing yards. I think they're definitely gonna not put so much on Ben Roethlisberger, but the Bills, the Bills are Super Bowl contenders. Like the Bills are beating the Steelers, and Obviously, the keys to the game are the Steelers' running game is definitely one key to the game. How well can they run the football, especially considering that they lost David DeCastro, who's one of their starting offensive linemen last year. Their offensive line is okay. How well can they run the football? Can they run the football efficiently? That we'll have to see because the Bills are definitely going to score points on the Steelers' defense. Yes, the Steelers have a good defense, but Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, they worked magic last year. Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, who Niners fans know very well, who's also an amazing wide receiver number 3. Like, why didn't the Niners pick him up? He's their wide receiver
Yeah.
number 3. Like, for us in 2019, he was a wide receiver number 1. He's their wide receiver number 3. That's how stacked the Bills wide receiver group is. Not even to mention their defense. Gregory Rousseau, who they're trying to improve that defensive line. Their corners and Tre'Davious White, they have amazing corners. Their linebacker court, Tremaine Edmonds, Matt Milano, their safety, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. Their defense is amazing. The keys to Steelers' victories, they just have to see how well they can run the football. How well can they run the football with Najee with their bad offensive line? But I honestly, for me, I think the Bills are going to win. I don't even think it's going to be close. I think it's like a 35-23 win. I think the
Yeah.
Bills their offense is that good. They could light it up against the Steelers defense. Yes, the Steelers defense
Yeah.
is good, but they should be able to light it up against the Steelers. So I got the Bills winning 35-23.
I mean, I completely agree with you basically, but I'm gonna say something different. The Steelers on defense are gonna be playing a lot of two safety deep because they don't want to prevent Josh Allen's arm to do what Josh Allen usually does. So they're gonna be playing a lot of people deep. But then again, the Bills can kill you underneath. And that's the biggest thing is they can get it to Cole Beasley. They can get it to Emmanuel Sanders. And that's what makes their offense so good. The other thing that the Bills could do, the Steelers could do, is not load the box, but don't put very many people up front. If the Bills, we've seen in previous times, don't run the ball very much. So the Bills, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to run the ball a lot more than they did last year because I think that was the downfall of them. And they're going to have to try to do something to keep the defense honest because otherwise the Steelers won't blitz that much. They're going to keep everyone back. And so the Bills are going to have to run the ball to be successful in this game. Offensively, I think this is a no-brainer. Steelers are going to have a tough time. I do like what's that guy for the Steelers in fantasy? I can't remember. Well, Juju Smith-Schuster's okay, but
Johnson.
Chase Claypool. There we go. So I do like the receivers. I think it's going to be a 30-17 game. I think the Bills are going to run the ball, but again, to be successful this year, they have to run the ball.
Yep, definitely. And I mean, Ben Roethlisberger is getting old, and we saw what Cleveland did when they brought pressure. Ben Roethlisberger screws up, and he makes a mistake.
Yeah.
If they can get pressure with Gregory Rousseau, the defensive line isn't that strong, but I think that the offense will make up for it, and I think the offense is just going to light it up against Steelers defense. That's why I have the Bills winning because, yes, Steelers do have a good team, but the Bills are just so explosive on offense. With all their studied talent on offense, I just can't see the Bills losing.
And that secondary for the Bills is really good. Tre'Davious White and everything else. And their D-line is pretty good. So, I mean, I think most people have the Bills here winning. I don't think – okay, there was one prediction before I get to anything else. And I think, Adam Rank had the Steelers going, 6-11 last year. No, this year for NFL.
I mean, I don't see them going 6-11, but that division is to look out for because the second best division, in my opinion, in football is the AFC North. Like, you have 3 teams that are contending, 3 teams that are potential contenders, right? The NFC West, in my opinion, is the best division because all 4 teams could make the playoffs because all 4 teams are that good. Obviously, the Arizona Cardinals, we'll see about them, but all 4 teams can make the playoffs in the NFC West. But the AFC North, obviously the Bengals no, but the Steelers, Ravens, and the Browns are that's the division to look out for. And the Steelers will definitely get more help because if you didn't hear today, Gus Edwards, ACL.
Yeah.
Torn.
Oh, right.
Torn ACL, right?
Right,
and
yeah.
J.K. Dobbins, ACL torn. They're the Niners this year. They're the San Francisco 49ers getting plagued by the injury bug this year. And so their whole team is their running backs and then Marcus Peters, who's one of their best players on defense. They're getting hit with the injury bug. Last year was the Niners. This year's the Ravens. Hopefully, the
Yeah,
injury bug has left us and it's moved to the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore. Also, okay, the other thing is the Niners with they have their standing I think is ninth. I think they should be a little bit lower than that. I think people are a little too high on the Niners.
I mean, for me, the Niners, when healthy, are a good team. And I definitely could see them in the NFC Championship game against the Buccaneers. I definitely see that.
Yeah.
I think I'm not trying to be a biased fan or be like, oh, the Niners are gonna win the Super Bowl. But I could see them winning the whole NFC because their schedule is so easy. Like, if you look at the schedule, if we win all division games, we could go legit 17-0. If we win the division games, we could go 17-0. We should be able to beat the Colts. We should be able to beat the Titans. We could go 17-0 if we just win the division games because our schedule, like the Bengals, the Texans. I'm not saying we're gonna go 17-0, but we have the potential to go 17-0 if we win the division games, which we should. So I definitely think the Niners are gonna be a really good team if healthy. If healthy, that's a
Quick,
consideration to take in.
yeah. Quick update on the Dallas versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning 21-16. It's the 2-minute warning. Um, it's a close game, and here's the thing: the Cowboys are a good offensive team this year,
Their defense
but
trash.
what?
Their defense is still trash. Like,
It is trash, and that's the
trash.
one downfall. But that's why I'm like, the Buccaneers are still keeping it close. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I think Brady. For me, I had the game prediction. I was like, it's gonna be close, but Brady's just gonna pull it out at the end. Like Brady's gonna
Yeah,
fourth quarter. Brady's just gonna pull it out, and they're gonna go on a run. They're gonna score like 2 touchdowns, and they're gonna they're
yeah.
gonna they're gonna secure the win. Fourth quarter. I think it's gonna be close until maybe third, fourth quarter. Then Brady's just gonna go lights out, and he's just gonna ice the game.
So the next one, Browns versus Chiefs preview. I mean, I don't have a lot to say on this, but what do you have to say on this?
I just have two things to say. Patrick Mahomes. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. Patrick Mahomes. Like, okay, I'm just messing with you, but Patrick Mahomes with a healthy offensive line, you can't beat.
Yeah,
I don't. Yes, they lost in the Super Bowl, but Eric Fisher.
they got Orlando
is short because
Brown.
their
He's
offensive
not getting
line was
touched again.
injured. Like their offensive line was injured. Why do people think Mahomes like, oh, they lost in the Super Bowl? The Browns have a chance to beat them. Blah blah. There's teams that have the chance to beat them. No, do we not remember that the Chiefs have made it to 3 AFC Championship games straight? Like 3 AFC Championship games straight. If they have a healthy offensive line, a healthy team, a healthy defense, they have the potential to go 17-0.
Yeah.
They have a potential to make it to Super Bowl this year. They have the potential. If as long as Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and a healthy offensive line with some stars on the offensive line and a solid defense, you just can't beat Mahomes. The only way you're beating Mahomes is to outscore Mahomes. And I'm still sticking to that theory. Because with the Mahomes with a healthy offensive line, you can't stop Mahomes in that offense. It's hard. It's really, really, really hard. The only way you're beating Mahomes in that team is to outscore them.
Yeah.
And you're not outscoring them. Like we saw a 2019 divisional round. The Texans were up by 24. There's not that many teams that are up by 24 in the end of the game. They're losing 56-24. Like that doesn't happen usually. That's how good the Chiefs are, and that's how explosive that offense is. And that offensive line just got way better. Like way, way better. Eric Fisher from Orlando Brown to Eric Fisher, like Orlando Brown's an upgrade. They added a guy from Patriots. I can't remember his name. That star offensive line, Kyle Long, also an upgrade. So,
oh yeah,
like with a healthy offensive line, with Tyreek, with that defense, you're not beating the Chiefs unless you can outscore the Chiefs. I don't think the Browns are going to be able to outscore the Chiefs. Yes, they have an amazing defense, but it's so damn hard to outscore Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs because they're so good. It's not happening. The Chiefs are winning.
Yeah, this is the perfect test for the Chiefs because, to be honest, this Browns defense is top 5. So if you can get past this Browns defense, it's. I mean, they have a good D line, pretty good corners. So this defense, I think, is top 5.
That's what they said about the Niners in the Super Bowl in 20.
True.
And that's
That's
what they
why
said
I'm
about
like,
the Niners.
I don't know, but it
Everybody,
could just be week one. I mean, the Chiefs could slip to this game. I don't think it's going to happen,
I don't think
but
so
I
either.
do think it's going to be pretty close. I think it's going to be a battle out. It's going to be a high scoring game, like the Chiefs always make it. I think the Chiefs get this one, obviously, 34 to 24.
Something like that. I mean,
34-20, because I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Like,
I don't
no game like this is, because the Browns are still a top top four AFC team, I think so.
I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but people at the Browns are Super Bowl contenders. Their team should be Super Bowl contenders, but how well can Baker Mayfield play? That's the real question, right? How well can Baker Mayfield take them over the hump? Can Baker Mayfield do enough, right? Because let's say Josh Allen was on the Browns. If Josh Allen was on the Browns, their team should their team should give a way better fight to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs than what Baker Mayfield's on that team. Because Josh Allen had the same amount of defense, same amount of he obviously has a great supporting cast. But like let's say Josh Allen was on that team, that would be an amazing AFC championship game. That would be an amazing AFC championship game.
Oh my gosh, that
But
would
with
be
Baker
dream come
Mayfield
true.
there, I really don't see Baker Mayfield being able to beat Patrick Mahomes. He just can't. In college he did, but not in the NFL. Not in the NFL. Like I really don't see them. I'm so confident in Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I don't see Baker Mayfield beating Patrick Mahomes in his entire career. Like I don't see Baker Mayfield beating Patrick Mahomes in his entire football career. Every time he goes up against Patrick Mahomes, he's losing. He's losing because Patrick Mahomes is so good. He's so good. Like that defense. Yes, their defense is outstanding. With all Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, the Jeremiah Owusu that they got from Notre Dame. They have John Johnson that they got from the Rams. They have an amazing team. But that's what they said about the Niners in the Super Bowl. And their offensive line just got way better. Like that's what they said about the Niners in the Super Bowl, and their offensive line wasn't as good as it is right now. And we got destroyed. Like, just think about it like this: we had 10 to 20, 5 minutes left, and if I told you at the end of the game the score was going to be 34 to 20,
yeah, that's true.
5 minutes Mahomes from 10 puts up 34.
But it's week one. That's the thing. This is week one. So like
Obviously,
you've
it is
seen
week
the
one.
Chiefs never like last year they didn't even do that good against the Texans week one. So
yeah, but I mean like obviously Mahomes isn't gonna score like a 50-point game, but I still think Mahomes is gonna win. And I said, I'm not saying Mahomes is gonna have like a 70-point game, 9 touchdowns. No, but the only way you're able to beat Mahomes is you're gonna have to outscore Mahomes. And trust me, it's not easy to outscore Mahomes. It's not. If he has a healthy offensive line and a healthy team, you're not beating Mahomes unless you outscore Mahomes. Even Brady, I'm confident if they see each other in the Super Bowl this year, and that team is healthy, the Chiefs team is healthy, they're gonna win. And it's not gonna be one of those like close matchups. It is gonna be competitive, but the Chiefs are winning. Yes, they have a good defense, but with a healthy offensive line, the Chiefs, Mahomes can cook.
This team's amazing this year. The only worry is what if like Tyreek Hill comes back, like gets injured or something like that. They don't have a lot of depth
there. He hasn't been injured yet, so right, he's not like a George Kittle. He has not injury history, so like I'm not even worried about that. And he's so fast, like the thing about George Kittle, right? Like when George Kittle gets hurt, obviously Jimmy Garoppolo has some blame to it, but like Tyreek Hill is so fast. Like how are you even gonna be able to catch him? Like unless it's like one of those balls that like Mahomes is throwing it to him where he's in like a court, like, and you know where there's two DBs there or something like that. He's trying to squeeze it in. Then yeah, there's like a chance where he might get injured. But majority of the time, Tyreek is so fast that legit nobody can catch him. Like no DB can catch up to Tyreek Hill because he's so fast. He's basically Mahomes' Randy Moss. He's not as big. He's not as physical. And he's obviously not as good as Randy Moss, but he can go up and get it because he's so fast. He's just dusting corners.
That's true. It's going to be a good game. Again, one of the better matchups. The NFL people definitely they fixed it up perfectly to where like this week one has a few dicey games from like Dolphins versus Patriots, Zach Wilson versus Sam Darnold, and Jets, Colts versus Seahawks. Bunch of good games. Too bad the 49ers game isn't like we'll probably win that game.
Because it's what we call a guaranteed W, you know?
Don't get your hopes up high, man.
I'm saying I'm like I don't.
We
care
saw
who
Jimmy
plays.
Garoppolo. Well, I guess
I'm
the
fine with it. I'm
Lions team
fine.
was a lot better then when
The
he
Lions team
almost lost that week 1 game
I
or
mean, the
week 2.
Lions team. I'm not. The Lions team is still a rebuilding team, and the Niners team with Bosa, with Ford, all it's not going to be pretty for the Lions. It's not. I don't get why people still think like the Lions. Oh, the Lions, Dan Campbell, Jared Goff. We own Jared Goff. Like the Niners own Jared Goff.
The only thing is their front 7 that I'm actually scared of.
Their front 7, we should be able to handle it. Michael Brocker is going up against Trent Williams. Like,
But they have a good. I mean, can't name it right here off the bat, but yeah,
I
I
can
don't
hear
know.
the background noise. Bro, you should have stayed in your room, bro. You should have stayed in
Yeah, I should have. So, final playoff predictions: NFC and AFC.
Can we just give our teams? Or no?
Yeah, no, we could. I mean, I have them in order, but you could give 7 NFC teams. It doesn't really matter.
Number 1, San Francisco 49ers in the NFC.
First seed?
First seed. I'm that confident in my Niners, okay? Shh. Shh.
What?
Yeah.
I think they're a wild card team. I think that's fair expectations. Because
that's
because
fair
here's the thing, Deebo Samuel, all of those guys miss 3 games a year.
You understand?
So
yeah, but last year you have to understand this, right? Last year when we got injury plagued, it was so many starting players that got injured in practice, training camp. We don't have that much this year. Like Deebo broke his foot last year in training camp. There was players that were missing games like Mostert. He got hurt in training camp last year. We have a healthy team this year going into the season. Last year we couldn't say that. You remember last year Deebo's out, Ayuk is out. There's players that were missing games last year. Week 1, this year we have a healthy team, and I'm confident that we're not gonna get hit that bad with the injury bug this year because we have a healthy team this year. The Niners and when people say the Bucks, they're winning first seed. You have to understand this about the Bucks. Look at last year. Same team, they lose to the Saints twice. Twice. In the regular season, Brady is not Brady in the playoffs. Brady is a good quarterback, a great quarterback. But in the playoffs, Brady's legendary. You can't beat Brady. Brady's unbeatable in the playoffs. But in the regular season,
no, remember the Titans, King Henry.
Oh my god. Oh my god. In the playoffs, Brady's unbeatable. It's hard to beat Brady. You can't.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
hard to beat Thomas Patrick Edward Brady Jr. It's hard.
But do you really think the Niners are winning the Super Bowl? I mean, you have the Chiefs, who I think are head over heels better. The Bucks, are probably better because they could. And here's the thing: they could completely skin the 49ers secondary. That's why I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. That's insane.
Playoffs? Have you seen that press conference where the coach is like, you want to talk about playoffs? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But obviously, I'm not talking about playoffs. But regular season, Brady's not as good as he is in the postseason. We beat the Rams with Nick Mullins. Brady lost to the Rams. Brady's not that good in the regular season. He's an amazing quarterback. I'm not saying that he's horrible in the regular season, but he's not an amazing, elite quarterback. He's not Brady in the playoffs. He's elite. I'm sorry, I misphrased my words. Brady's really, really good, but he's not Brady. He's not the same Brady that he is in the playoffs that he is in the regular season.
Yeah.
The Niners, we don't have to play Brady in the Bucs, so we don't know. In the playoffs, obviously, that might be different, but I think the Niners with a healthy team, people do doubt us because we don't have the best quarterback. But our team is good. With a healthy team, we should be able to beat the Seahawks. We should be able to beat the Rams in the division. I think we're going to get the first seed.
Second seed, yep.
Obviously, I think it's gonna be the Bucks because I don't think the Bucks are that bad. I think they're gonna lose some games that they should win.
But real quick about the Niners. The Niners were so good that 2019 year, and they were scraping for first seed. How better are they this year? I don't know than they were that year, and they were still not even they were barely first seed.
Here's why they're better. Because the division isn't as tough.
Really? You don't think so with Matthew Stafford and a revamped Cardinals team?
No, Matthew Stafford is a good team.
Cardinals team that year was bad. Well, not that bad, but
Cliff Kingsbury's gonna hold them back. Trust me, they're not. They're gonna be fourth in the division. Seattle, they're obviously a wild card.
But they're still gonna be an 8-9 team. I mean,
No, I mean they're. I'm not saying they're gonna be bad, right? I already said you. I already told you before. The NFC West is gonna be a stacked division, but that team is gonna be the worst because of their coach. They're gonna win 8 to 9 games, but are they gonna be like the rest of the division where we win 10 plus games, 11 plus games, 12 plus games? No, they're not, right? And for me, obviously the Niners, yes, they did skim in 2019 that they almost won first. They won first seed, but it was very close. Saints last 2019 Saints eliminated from the category. Like the Saints were a really tough team that we had to beat. They're not in the conversation anymore. Obviously the Packers are, but Aaron Rodgers obviously is getting older. They just changed their defensive coordinator. They lost David Bakhtiari is injured. In the 2019 season, you look at the Packers offensive line. David Bakhtiari, Corey Linsley, Brian Beluga. Like their offensive line was stacked in 2019. Their offensive line isn't as good, and two of their starting offensive linemen are in IR for the start of the season. They're gonna be playing with rookie offensive linemen for the start of the season. So they're obviously gonna lose some
Yeah.
games. I just think the Niners, yes, they did scam in 2019. It was really close when they won the division, but this year the division is way easier. Outside the NFC West, the division is way easier.
You think so? And if
I really think so. I really think so.
the Rams weren't as good, I mean, well, maybe they
Obviously, but we
weren't.
own the Rams. Like, yes, Matthew Stafford, but Matthew Stafford is
Yeah.
still the same quarterback that he was in Detroit.
But here's the thing, the
Obviously,
49ers schedule is pretty hard this year. I mean, you got the Titans, you got the Okay, it's one of the easiest, but you still have some
thank
dang
you. I was
hard
about to say like
teams.
harder.
Packers,
Okay,
Seahawks.
okay,
You've
Packers.
got that
But
whole
people get
division. Plus, you've got Colts and, well, I guess Colts,
Colts,
Titans.
Titans.
You're
Here's the
right. You're
perspective:
right.
Colts, Titans. Those are
I'm
both
just pretty pessimistic, just
yeah,
like
right,
Grant Karen. I
right.
mean,
Those are both 50-50, right? Those are both 50-50 spreads. But if you look at the other games, right? If you look at Bengals, Houston, Lions week 1, Eagles, Packers, I don't care what anybody says. Like we saw what we did with Nick Bosa against the Packers. And when we're playing them, hopefully Bakhtiari isn't coming back when we're playing them. Bakhtiari isn't playing when we play the Niners, which means Nick Bosa is gonna go up against this rookie offensive lineman.
true, but
Like
yeah.
we know what happens when they cut the Levi's. We know we dominate them. So like
Yeah.
Packers, that should be a win. If we lose
Okay.
divisional games, then I'll be concerned, right? But we should be able to win two
Yeah.
divisional games. We should be able to either split or win both divisional games. Like we have potential to do that. So I honestly think our schedule
Third
is too
seed.
easy for
Third
us
seed.
not to.
Third seed.
No, first seed, second seed.
Wait, no, no, sorry. I'm saying like third seed. Your third
Oh,
seed.
my third seed is the Packers, obviously.
Okay.
My fourth seed is the Washington football team. No, I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing with you. I got the Dak Prescott Cowboys.
Cowboys, yeah, they're a good team
I mean,
if
their
they stay
defense is
healthy.
bad,
But
but
we'll see. I mean, Washington they could
here's
be
my one
really
thing.
good week
Here's
1.
my one criticism of this, right? We know Dak is a starting quarterback. Is Ryan Fitzpatrick really a solid starting quarterback? Their defense is good,
And
but
their offense is pretty good. Good
the
run game,
offense,
2
yes,
receivers,
yes,
Curtis
they have,
Samuel, Terry
yeah,
McLaurin.
but how well can Ryan Fitzpatrick play, right? That's all what it depends on, right? Because if Fitzmagic was Fitzmagic his whole career, he wouldn't be on so many different teams his
Yeah.
whole career. This is obviously one of the best situations he's been to, but can Fitzmagic play at a high level?
Wait, can Fitz I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes,
He can do that for 10 games.
right? Like, can he really play at a high
But here's the
level?
thing about the Cowboys though that I want to make a point on. The Cowboys, like right now, the score is whatever. But the Cowboys always look good week 1. I just don't have a lot of faith in them because I feel like the last 3-4 years they've just fell apart each season long. So like I don't have a lot of faith for the Cowboys.
I mean, who knows? But I honestly, for me, it's just that they have a quarterback that I trust and I know
Yeah,
he
that's
can win
true.
games. Where all these other quarterbacks, who knows what Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni going to do? Who knows what Daniel Jones is going to do this year? Who knows what Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to do this year? So I don't know. Those are all question marks that have not been answered yet, and I know what I can get out of the Dak Prescott. So I'm gonna say with the safe bet. I think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be fourth, fifth.
Yeah.
Fifth, I have the Rams.
It's when it starts getting dicey, but the AFC is going to be so much harder because it's
Fifth,
like
I have. Fifth, I have. Fifth, I have Seattle. Forget about the Rams.
yeah, true. Wait, what? You're not have
Forget about the Rams.
I think they're going to be really good this year.
I think they are, but I don't see them above the Seattle Seahawks because honestly, we know I'm not that high. Like, I'm really Matthew Stafford. He's definitely going to be an improvement, but how well can Matthew Stafford do really? Because he's been the same. He's
Yeah,
roughed up.
true.
He gets injured a lot. He's not like a healthy, sustainable quarterback. And I mean, Seattle. I have a lot of faith in Russ. He can win you 10+ games every year, and he can take you to the playoffs. So
That's right. So
and six, I have
6.
the Rams. 6, I have the Rams. Okay.
Okay.
In 7
Makes
seed,
sense. Yeah.
I have the Washington football team because that defense is really, really good. So that's my prediction.
So mine are going to be. So I'll start. Oh, hold on. AFC. Actually, we can do NFC,
Yeah, we can
NFC,
do
AFC.
NFC,
Yeah. Okay. So mine, I'm going to do Bucks number 1. I think. I don't know. I actually could see the Bucks falling to like 3rd this year. Like, I don't think they're a sustainable team where you're like, okay, they're number 1 every year. Because it's like, I know Tom Brady's good. I know Tom Brady's consistent. But the thing is he's had teams in New England that have been like, when they've won the Super Bowl sometimes, they've been 3rd. Like, sometimes they've been 3rd. So I love the Buccaneers, but I could see them dropping. But for now, until proven otherwise, I do think the Buccaneers get number 1. Number 2, I have the Rams. I think with Matthew Stafford and everything else, I think this team is a really, really, really good team. Now, it was a hard one for the Rams because it was tough to place them. It was a hard one for. Sorry about my family. They're at dinner, so it's like it's always a loud affair.
If they did, I'm surprised your parents are like, Ben, you better come to dinner, wrap it up.
No, they're not shouting at me. They're just like having a good old debate like big families do. No, I'm kidding. So, anyways, so the Rams, I think this was a hard team to place because they could get 7th, they could drop out of the playoffs, they could get wild card.
About the Rams is that they have like usually teams like us, we have like 6 cornerbacks, 7 cornerbacks. The Rams have 4. Jalen Ramsey goes down, or one of their cornerbacks goes down, they're screwed. Like, let's say Jalen Ramsey gets injured, you have 3 cornerbacks.
But I know, but that's always the thing with them. But I think they can still string something along with Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is so much better than Jared Goff.
He is.
Like, levels.
I think they're gonna make the wild card, but they just don't.
But that's the thing. I think it could go either way. Honestly, though, it could go wild card. That they're one of the hardest teams, even harder than the Niners to place in the playoffs because they're a playoff team. But like, it's gonna be so close.
Yeah.
So number 3, Packers. I could see them going number 2, but I think they're an interesting team with the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. Number 4. Washington football team. I think this could also go either way with Dallas or thing, but I don't know. I think Washington's a really good team. Now, you kind of, in your last thing about the Dallas Cowboys, you kind of persuaded me. I was thinking of changing my pick, but I'm going to do Washington. Number 5, Saints. I think not Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston. But here's the thing. They can throw it deep. We saw what they can do. Now, yes, they don't have weapons, but they have Alvin Kamara. I think with Jameis Winston, they are a very, very good team. And honestly, dude, now they have the deep threat, which they never had with Drew Brees. Imagine Drew Brees in his last few seasons was not that good quarterback. He was precise, but he couldn't. What?
Who does have a receiver?
Marquez Callaway. I mean,
he was beating.
But their defense is really good. But also that I don't know. I have a really good feeling about them this year. That's another team. This is a really hard NFC. That's another team that could do really good or could do really bad. Number 6, I have the Niners. I think they get this. NFC is strong. They get at a respectable. They're a respectable 11-6. Okay, I do. But here's the thing: they are going to drop games. They are going to drop games. There's going to be games where Jimmy Garoppolo does bad. There's going to be games where Trey Lance makes mistakes. There's going to be all of those games. So I could see the Niners getting 1 seed. I could see them getting 3 seed. I could see really everything with the Niners. But that's just how I'm going to get. I'm going bold. Number 7, I'm going to go Seattle. I think they sneak in easily. I think Seattle sneaks in. My snubs obviously were Dallas. You could count the Vikings as Eagles, maybe a snub.
Under for a year.
Yeah. Really, honestly, all of these teams, Cardinals definitely a snub because I don't care what you say, the Cardinals still have a really good, talented team.
Yeah, they do.
So there's some people, but outside of the NFC, there's actually not like there's some strong teams in the NFC playoff picture, but then outside of that, they're really not. Like the AFC is way more strong. They have the AFC has 12 teams that could all make the playoffs. So
yeah.
So what's your AFC?
I'm just disrespected, that you put the Saints above the Niners. I'm kind of like, oh, okay, Ben being
well, the Saints I think have it. Well, maybe they don't have an easier
Benjamin
schedule.
Camperman.
That's a hard one.
Benjamin Camperman.
Yeah.
Well,
but anyways, go ahead.
Let's make this easy and simple. First seed, the Chiefs.
Obviously. Second seed, Bills.
I already laid out my case. Second, the Bills. Thank you.
Now, one thing against the Bills, they're gonna have to run the ball. Like they're gonna have to. But their offense is great. But I don't know. It's a hard division too. Like remember, the AFC East always used to be as the litter. Like they were one of the worst. Now, like you have 3 really good teams in that division, and then a 4th one that's up and coming. So go ahead.
No, it's harder division of the AFC North, which is the division that the Browns play, which I think
Browns
3rd seed. Only because they're going to lose some divisional games to the Ravens because that Ravens score something.
Browns at 3rd seed? Yeah.
Yeah, 3rd seed. 4th seed. I have the Tennessee Titans.
Our playoff 4, I'm not going to spoil it, but our first 4 things are exactly the same.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Finally, Benjamin, for the AFC, Benjamin usually not being bold. He's actually, thinking with logic, but okay. I appreciate it.
So.
But for the 5th seed, I have the Ravens sneaking in for the 5th seed. Obviously, the Ravens are going to get a playoff spot.
Yeah.
6th seed. 6th seed. I'm gonna say the 6th seed. I got the Miami Dolphins. I think they're gonna get the 6th seed. I think they're gonna get a wild card spot.
Yeah.
And the 7th seed, the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, I liked it. Wait, so name me one more time the last 3.
I got the Ravens at 5.
Okay.
I got the Miami Dolphins at 6, and I got the last at 7.
Yeah, the Miami Dolphins were so hard. No. So this is what I got. Chiefs, Bills, Browns, Titans. Ravens 5, 6 Colts.
Okay.
They could.
I respect it.
They could. 7 Chargers. I have Miami as a snub. I think they really should. But here's the thing. Outside of the playoff picture, you've got Miami. You've got, what's another one? New England. I don't have New England making it. I just don't. A lot of people have them high. But you got Miami, New England. What's another one? Steelers, Pittsburgh. You've got, I'm trying to get to 12, but okay, so fine. There's really only like 4 or 3 teams outside, but it is like stronger outside teams looking in the NFC AFC is stronger than the NFC teams that are snubbed because I think this AFC, it's a hard division. It's a hard conference for sure.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much wraps up our show. Sorry for the background noise, guys. Apologize once again. I mean, this has been fun.
This has been fun. Thank you for having me on. If you haven't already, go subscribe to Benjamin's channel, man. This man has an interview with Robert Schweikert a couple of weeks ago. He's been getting sponsored. So go subscribe to him. Do him a solid. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Go subscribe to him. Definitely get him to 100, 200, 250, 200 subs before the start of the season if you can.
You're kind. You can follow Amin the Dream at Twitter, at Amin the Dream 13 right there. And then you can follow him at YouTube, Amin the Dream. But this has been a lot of fun, guys. We will see you guys later. I'm going to go eat some dinner. I'm hungry. Peace.